Did you know, in the 1920s, it was popular with filmmakers to make surreal films, like this Russian gem from 1929. On this channel, we read old newspapers, but I only pick the interesting articles, and today is chock full of some very unusual ones that you will enjoy. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video because I found the most fabulous surreal movie with jazz from the 1960s. Today's newspaper is the Tampa Daily Times with selected articles from April 1925. Well-dressed Yeggs get $25,000 from safe. What's a Yegg? Well, it was a burglar, especially ones who were adept at safecracking. New York, April 13th. 4 well-dressed young cracksmen blew 3 safes in the Reed Ice Cream Company offices earlier today and escaped with about $25,000 in cash and bonds, leaving the watchman bound, gagged, and unconscious on the floor. Peggy Allenby, actress, who has been granted a divorce from Robert Armstrong, actor, said today she wanted no alimony. "I didn't ask any," she said, "because I don't need any. I have an independent income and I earn my own living. I think some women have an awful nerve to cease loving a man but go right on loving his money." The talk about the different kinds of holdups and swindles, but what could be more outrageous than divorcing a man and then taking his money, especially where there are no children? Booze boat found at sea, Boston, April 21st. An abandoned motorboat laden with liquor valued at $4,500 was picked up 45 miles northeast of Palm Beach, Florida on April 1st, according to officers of the United Fruit Company steamship San Bruno, which reached Boston last night. What became of the crew remains a mystery. Packed neatly in gunny bags on board were 904 bottles of whiskey, gin, champagne, and beer, a book of Daytona Bridge tickets, a towel-stamped Hotel St. Lucie, and a man's coat bearing a tailor mark, Blanco, Jacksonville, Florida, were also found. The boat bore the registry number V13106. The boat was turned over to the British Council at Cristobal. I like looking at these old advertisements for things that you no longer use today, like these things for your automobile. Convenient for the driver who smokes. Electric cigar lighters, easily installed, reaches every seat. Hey, and what about the Supreme Spotlight? Adds pleasure to night driving. Don't trust that driver behind you to see that you're stopping? You can get everything complete for installing stoplights. Protects you from the driver behind, either regular fender type or style to clip over taillight. $1. Wooden Indians at cigar stores. Legislature's aim. Tallahassee, Florida, April 16th. Representative Eaton of Alachua today introduced a bill in the House to require all cigar stores in Florida to display a wooden likeness of an Indian in front of their places of business in full view of the public. The bill was referred to the Committee on Indian Affairs. I wondered why that legislator wanted them so badly. I wonder if he had some investment in cigars. Take a look at these fascinating different kinds of cigar store Indians. This next article might make a few wives unhappy. Man can spank wife mildly, judge rules. Moultrie, Georgia, April 16th. A man is justified in spanking his wife mildly, according to a ruling by Judge Ogden Persons, in directing a verdict of not guilty for Hubert Bannister, young farmer who had been arrested for assault and battery on his young wife. Mrs. Bannister was charged with having slapped her mother-in-law and refused to make an apology. Bannister told the court that after this occurrence, he took his bride to a secluded spot where he turned her across his knee and administered a mild spanking. She, resentful and humiliated, presented her case to the grand jury, and an indictment against her husband was returned. If I were on the jury, said Judge Persons, in making his ruling, I would vote to acquit the defendant, and if a verdict of guilty should be returned, I would set it aside. If your husband ever finds out you're not store testing for fresher coffee. Chase and Sanborn Coffee would never advertise like this today.
Every morning, every evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, but honey, ain't we got fun? The rent's unpaid.
Today only at the Franklin Theater, a picture of love and adventure, the trail of a passionate love, leading from gilded drawing rooms over the western plains and into the heart of the prairie. The Prairie Wife, starring Herbert Rawlingson and Dorothy Devore.
chase me and I'll chase you. Who gives a darn what we darn fools do? Ain't life a load of happiness? We've got a cottage, we've got a kitchen. All that is missing is the heart. I am poor, but we don't care. Isn't your father a millionaire? Ain't life a load of happiness?
Hubby contented to stay in jail while wife fumes. Ogden, Utah, April 11th. Tom DeSenga, 60 years old, sought refuge in the Weber County Jail a few days ago, declaring his wife had nagged him until he was ill. He asked and received a chance to catch up on his sleep. Now the sheriff is finding his case a puzzle. The wife today implored Tom to return to their home. When he refused, she threatened to prefer charges of bigamy against him, declaring that he had a wife in Italy when he married her. Tom only chuckled, declaring he already is in jail and perfectly satisfied. He won't leave the jail to support his wife, and if she charges him with non-support, he will still be in jail. And if the charge of bigamy is pressed, he still, contentedly, will be in jail.
Close the door, damn it. No, I beg your pardon. Hello, Gertrude? Oh, I must have the wrong number. I'm so sorry.